Don't touch her again. The words explode into the room. Sharp, violent, uncontrolled. A luxury penthouse. 40 floors above the city. Glass walls. Marble floors. The kind of silence money usually buys. But not tonight. Tonight, something is terribly wrong. A woman is on the floor. Elegant even in chaos. Her designer dress still flawless. But her hand is pressed against her cheek. Her eyes are wide. Not from pain. From shock. Because someone dared to touch her. Because someone slapped her. Standing over her is the maid. Amara Okeke. Gray uniform. White apron. Her right hand still hangs in the air. Not raised to strike again. Just frozen there. Shaking. Her breathing is uneven. Not because she fears the woman on the floor. But because she knows exactly what she just did. She crossed a line. The kind of line that destroys lives. Behind her sits a wheelchair. In it is Madame Hygiene Park. 71. Small. Fragile. But unbreakably proud. Her glasses lie shattered on the marble floor. One lens cracked. A deep red mark spreads across her cheek. Fresh. Angry. Impossible to ignore. No one moves. The room itself seems to stop breathing. Then the door opens. Daniel Park walks in. Still in his suit. Phone in his hand. Mid-conversation. Until he sees it. Everything. His fiancée on the floor. His maid standing over her. And his mother. Bruised. Silent. 3 people. 3 positions. 3 completely different stories. And only seconds to decide which one is the truth. Clara moves first. Of course she does. Her voice trembles. Perfectly. She points at Amara. She begins to speak. But Daniel barely hears the words. Because Amara doesn't move. She doesn't defend herself. She doesn't beg. She doesn't explain. She just stands there. Between the woman on the floor. And the woman in the wheelchair. Like a shield. Daniel turns to his mother. Their eyes meet. Something passes between them. Heavy. Silent. Dangerous. Then he looks back at Amara. Waiting. For anything. An excuse. A lie. A reason. Finally, Amara speaks. Her voice is quiet. But unshakable. Don't touch her again. Silence falls. Not confusion. Not chaos. Something far worse. Truth, without explanation. Because now only one question remains. What really happened in this room? And why did the maid dare to strike a billionaire's fiancé? Cut to black. 4 months earlier. Everything was different. 4 months earlier. The city is quieter down here. Not silent. Just distant. Like everything important is happening somewhere else. A taxi stops outside a service entrance. Not the front. Not the glass doors. Not where guests arrive. The side. The kind of entrance meant for people who are not supposed to be seen. Amara Okeke steps out. 1 suitcase. Black. Slightly worn at the edges. Everything she owns fits inside it. She pauses for a second. Looks up. 43 floors of glass and steel. Too clean. Too perfect. She adjusts her grip on the handle. Then she walks in. No hesitation. Inside, the air changes. Cooler. Controlled. Filtered. The kind of air that does not belong to the outside world. A woman in her late 50s waits near the corridor. Mrs. Han. Head housekeeper. Efficient posture. Minimal expression. She does not smile. You are late. Amara checks the clock on the wall. 2 minutes. I am sorry. Mrs. Han nods once. Not acceptance. Just acknowledgement. Follow me. They walk. Long hallway. Soft lighting. Footsteps barely audible on polished floors. No pictures on the walls. No noise. No life. Just order. They pass the main living area. Floor to ceiling windows. The city stretches endlessly below. Everything looks small from here, including people. Mrs. Han stops at a door. Knocks once. Opens without waiting. This is Madame Park. Then she steps aside. And Amara walks in. The room is bright. Not warm. Just bright. A hospital bed disguised as something softer. Bookshelves covering one entire wall. Rows and rows of books. In the center, a wheelchair. Madame Hygiene Park. 71. thin frame, straight posture. Her hair is short, white, precise. Her eyes are the first thing Amara notices. Sharp, not tired, not fading, watching, always watching. You are the new caregiver. Yes, ma'am. Where are you from? Nigeria. A pause. Which part? Imo State. Another pause. Longer this time. Madam Park studies her. Not her clothes. Not her suitcase. Her. As if reading something invisible. Then she nods. You speak clearly. Thank you, ma'am. Do you read? Yes, ma'am. What do you read? Anything I can find. That is not an answer. Amara holds her gaze. Stories about people. A small shift. Not quite a smile. But something close. We will see. Mrs. Han clears her throat. Your duties are simple. Assist with mobility. Meals. Medication. Reading if requested. No mistakes. No unnecessary conversations. Amara nods. Understood. But Madam Park does not look at Mrs. Han anymore. Her attention stays on Amara, as if the decision has already been made. You may start today. Amara sets her suitcase down. No ceremony. No adjustment period. Just work. That afternoon, she begins. Carefully. Observing more than speaking. She learns the rhythm of the room. The way the light moves across the floor. The exact angle Madam Park prefers her chair. The silence between actions. Nothing is random. Everything is controlled. But something is missing. Something human. The first reading session happens by accident. A book lies open on the side table. Amara picks it up. Do you want me to read? Madam Park does not answer immediately. She watches her, measuring. Then, start. Amara begins. Slow at first. Careful with pronunciation. Careful with tone. But as the words settle, something changes. Her voice becomes steadier. More natural. Less careful. Madam Park closes her eyes. Listening. Not correcting. Not interrupting. Just listening. When Amara finishes the page, she stops. Silence. Then, you read like you understand it. Amara hesitates. I try to. Trying is different from understanding. Yes, ma'am. Another pause. Continue. That becomes the routine. Morning light. Open book. Two voices. Sometimes reading. Sometimes arguing. Because Madam Park does not just listen. She challenges. Why do you think the character stayed? Because she had nowhere else to go. That is lazy thinking. Then maybe she was afraid. Of what? Of being alone. Madam Park opens her eyes. Everyone is alone. That is not a reason. Amara thinks. Then answers. Maybe she stayed because leaving would mean admitting she wasted her life. A silence. Longer this time. Then, better. The next week, something else begins. Hair. Madam Park's hair is thin. Difficult. Easily tangled. Amara works slowly. Gentle. Patient. You have done this before. Yes, ma'am. Who? My grandmother. Was she difficult? No. She was strong. Strong people are always difficult. Amara almost smiles. Then Madam Park says something unexpected. Make it neat. I do not like looking weak. Amara nods. Her fingers move carefully, section by section. When she finishes, she brings a mirror. Madam Park looks, not at the style, at herself. For a moment, her expression changes, softens, just slightly. Then it disappears. Acceptable. But she does not ask for it to be undone. The third ritual starts on a Tuesday. The kitchen is empty. The main chef has left. Amara stands alone, looking at unfamiliar equipment. She opens her suitcase, takes out a small container, spices, something from home. She cooks, slowly, carefully. The smell spreads, not subtle, not polite, alive. Madam Park notices immediately. What is that? Food. That is obvious. Amara brings a small bowl. Jollof rice. It is too bright. It is supposed to be. Madam Park studies it. Suspicious. Then takes a bite. A pause. Another bite. Then another. She finishes the entire bowl. Places the spoon down. Tuesdays. Amara nods. Tuesdays. From that point on, something shifts. Not dramatically, not suddenly, but steadily. The room changes. There is more sound, more conversation, more presence. Madam Park begins to speak more, not as a patient, as a person, as a professor, arguing, questioning, correcting, alive. Amara does not push. She does not force. She simply stays, listens, responds, holds space, and slowly, carefully, something begins to rebuild. Not just strength, identity. The house, however, does not change. It remains quiet, controlled, perfect, too perfect. And in perfect spaces, flaws do not disappear. They hide. One morning, Madam Park mentions a name, Clara, briefly, casually, but something in her tone shifts. Just slightly. A hesitation. A pause that does not belong. Amara notices. She does not ask. Not yet. Later that day, footsteps echo in the hallway. Different from the others. Sharper. More deliberate. Amara looks toward the door. Listens. The sound stops. Then continues. Then fades. She turns back to Madam Park, who is now completely silent. Eyes lowered. Hands still. Too still. The room feels different. Not unsafe, but not the same. Amara says nothing. She adjusts the blanket, picks up the book, continues reading. But her voice is no longer the same, because something has changed. Not in what she sees, but in what she feels. A shift she cannot explain. A detail she cannot prove. A tension without a source. Amara noticed something, but she couldn't explain it yet. Clara Voss arrives at 11:30. Not 11:29. Not 11:31. Exactly 11:30. Every day. The timing is precise. The entrance is quieter than expected. No dramatic footsteps. No raised voice. Just presence. And yet, the room changes the moment she enters. Amara notices it immediately. Not because of what Clara does. Because of what everyone else stops doing. Madam Park goes still. Not frozen. Controlled. Like someone lowering their voice in a room where sound is not welcome. Clara smiles. Soft. Warm. Effortless. The kind of smile that photographs well. There you are. She walks over. Kneels slightly beside the wheelchair. Touches Madam Park's shoulder. Gentle. Measured. Perfect. How are you feeling today? Madam Park responds. Fine. Short. Clean. Empty. Clara nods. Good. That's good. She turns slightly. Just enough to notice Amara. You must be the new caregiver. Her voice is kind. Too kind. Amara nods. Yes. Clara studies her. Not openly. Subtly. Like someone assessing something already decided. Thank you for taking care of her. The words sound right, but something underneath them does not. Clara stands. Moves around the room. Straightens objects that are already straight. Adjusts things that do not need adjusting. Her hands are always doing something. Always placing. Always correcting. Always performing. And then, footsteps. Another staff member passes the hallway. Clara's posture changes instantly. Her voice lifts. Brighter. Louder. A smile that expands just slightly wider. She leans closer to Madam Park. My dear, you look wonderful today. The words hang in the air. Perfect. Too perfect. The footsteps pass. The moment disappears. Clara straightens. The smile fades. Not completely. Just enough. Like a switch being lowered. Amara watches. Says nothing. But something settles in her mind. Not a conclusion. Not yet. Just a question. Why does kindness need an audience? The visits continue. Same time. Same pattern. And each day, the difference becomes clearer. Clara is kind. When someone is watching. When someone is near. When someone might see. But in the quiet moments. In the spaces between observation. Something shifts. Not loud. Not obvious. Just enough. Madam Park speaks less. Answers shorter. Stops arguing during reading sessions. Stops correcting. Stops engaging. The professor disappears. Slowly. Quietly. And no one says anything. Phase 2 begins without announcement. One afternoon, Amara carries a tray down the corridor. Tea. Light snacks. Routine. The door to Madam Park's room is slightly open. Just enough. Voices inside. Low. Close. Clara's voice. Different. Lower. Flat. You'll be better off somewhere else. Silence. Amara stops. Her hand tightens slightly around the tray. She does not move closer. She does not breathe louder. She listens. You know that, don't you? A pause. Then Madam Park's voice. Smaller than before. I don't want to go anywhere. Clara exhales. Soft. Controlled. Then don't make this difficult. The words land quietly. But they stay. Heavy. Amara steps back. Just enough to avoid being seen. Then she walks in. Normal. Steady. Like she heard nothing. Tea is served. Clara smiles again. Bright. Polished. Thank you. The performance resumes. But something has already changed. Because now Amara knows. Not everything. But enough. Enough to feel it. Enough to recognize it when it happens again. And it does. Phase 3. It starts small. Almost invisible. While helping Madam Park change, Amara notices it. A mark. Faint. Inside the upper arm. Purple. Soft at the edges. Not fresh. Not old. Specific. She pauses. Just for a second. Madam Park notices. It's nothing. The response is immediate. Too immediate. Amara says nothing. But her eyes stay on the mark. That does not look like nothing. I bumped into the chair. Amara nods slowly. But she has done this before. She has seen injuries. Accidental ones. Careless ones. This is neither. This has shape. This has pressure. This has intention. She finishes helping. Adjusts the sleeve. Moves on. But her mind does not. Because something is beginning to form. Not proof. A pattern. And patterns do not lie. The next incident is quieter. Crueler. More precise. Day 14. Late afternoon. Amara enters the room. Madam Park is facing the wall. Not slightly. Completely. Her wheelchair turned away from the window. From the light. From everything. The curtain is open. Sunlight fills the room. But it does not reach her face. She is sitting still. Looking at nothing. How long have you been like this? A pause. I don't know. What time is it? 4. Another pause. Since morning. 5 hours. 5 hours facing a wall. 5 hours without movement. Without choice. Amara steps forward immediately. Her hands grip the handles. She turns the chair. Slowly. Back toward the window. The light hits Madam Park's face. She blinks. Once. Twice. Like someone stepping out of darkness. She said I needed to rest. Amara says nothing. Because there are no words that fit. Only actions. She adjusts the blanket. Places a book in Madam Park's hands. Opens it. Gently. Madam Park begins to read. Her voice is unsteady at first. Then stronger. Then clearer. The professor returns. But something is different now. Because silence has already done its damage. And Amara feels it. Deep. Unavoidable. This time, it wasn't an accident. Phase 4. The smallest things disappear. First, the glasses. Madam Park cannot find them. They were here. Now they are not. Amara searches. Drawers. Shelves. Table. Nothing. Madam Park sits. Quiet. Hands folded. Not reading. Not speaking. Just waiting. Hours pass. Amara returns later. Searches again. Slower this time. More deliberate. She opens a drawer that should not contain them. But does. There they are. Placed neatly inside. Not dropped. Not forgotten. Hidden. She picks them up. Cleans the lenses. Walks back. Places them gently on Madam Park's face. The effect is immediate. Focus returns. The room sharpens. So does something else. Presence. Thank you. 2 words. But they carry weight. Because without those glasses, she is not just blind. She is erased. The next day, it happens again. Different detail. Same pattern. Something removed. Something controlled. Something taken. And then restored. Only when Amara intervenes. Piece by piece. Day by day. The pattern becomes undeniable. Small acts. Repeated. Consistent. Intentional. Control. Isolation. Reduction. Not loud enough to expose. Not visible enough to prove. But clear enough to feel. Amara stops reacting. She starts observing. Watching everything. Every movement. Every interaction. Every silence. Because now she understands something important. This is not random. This is method. And method means purpose. She says nothing. Not yet. Because without proof, truth sounds like accusation. And accusation fails in places like this. So she waits. She watches. She learns the rhythm. And the rhythm reveals everything. It happened again. The bruise. The silence. The reposition chair. The missing object. Again. This time, it wasn't an accident. Amara started watching. The pattern does not slow down. It sharpens. What once felt like unease now becomes routine. Not normal. Never normal. But expected. And that makes it worse. Because now, every silence means something. Every delay means something. Every absence is a decision. Day 18. Lunch is late. Not 5 minutes. Not 10. An hour. Amara notices first. The tray is still in the kitchen. Unmoved. Untouched. She checks the schedule. Everything is correct. Everything except the food. She walks to the room. Madam Park is sitting upright. Waiting. Not impatient. Just still. Like someone who has learned not to expect anything on time. Did you eat? A pause. No. Another pause. I was not hungry. The words are calm. Too calm. Amara turns. Walks back to the kitchen. Prepares the meal herself. Faster than protocol allows. When she returns, Madam Park does not reach for the food immediately. She looks at it. Then at Amara. Then back at the food. Like she is asking permission. Amara nods. Eat. Madam Park does. Slowly at first. Then normally. But something stays in the air. Something quiet. Something wrong. The next day, it happens again. Different form. Same intention. Medication is delayed. Not forgotten. Delayed. Just long enough to matter. Amara checks the log. The entry is marked. Completed. But she knows it was not. She knows because she was there. She knows because she watched. This is not a mistake. This is not carelessness. This is control. The realization settles in fully now. Clear. Heavy. Unavoidable. This is not neglect. This is deliberate. The shift changes everything. Because now, every action must be interpreted differently. Every kindness must be questioned. Every routine must be examined. And once you see intention, you cannot unsee it. Clara arrives that afternoon. Same time. Same smile. But Amara watches differently now. Closely. Carefully. Clara moves through the room like she owns it. Because she does. Not legally. Not yet. But in practice. In control. She adjusts the curtain. Halfway closed. Blocking the light. Madam Park does not react. She does not protest. She does not ask. She simply accepts. Clara leans closer. Her voice low. Measured. You are looking tired today. A pause. Maybe we should start discussing better arrangements. Madam Park's fingers tighten slightly on the armrest. What arrangements? Clara smiles. Soft. Reassuring. The kind that hides everything. A place where you will be taken care of properly. Professionals. Routine. Safety. A pause. And less confusion. The word lands differently. Confusion. It lingers. It reshapes the air. Madam Park says nothing. Because silence is safer. Amara stands at the side of the room. Still. Listening. Not interrupting. But recording everything. Because now she understands something else. This is not just control. This is preparation. A narrative being built. Piece by piece. Carefully. So that when the time comes, it sounds believable. The escalation continues. Not louder. Smarter. Madam Park is left alone more often. Long stretches of time. No reading. No conversation. Just silence. Days where the room feels empty even when she is inside it. Amara compensates. Stays longer. Speaks more. Reads more. But it is not enough. because absence leaves a mark, and repetition deepens it. The next turning point comes quietly. Late evening. The hallway is empty. Amara stands outside Daniel Park's office. She hesitates. Not out of fear. Out of calculation. Because once she says it, there is no taking it back. She knocks. A voice from inside. Come in. The office is large. Glass walls. City lights reflecting behind him. Daniel sits at his desk. Focused. Controlled. He looks up. Yes. Amara steps forward. Careful with her words. I need to speak with you about Madam Park. A pause. He leans back slightly. Go on. She explains. Not everything. Not emotionally. Just facts. The delays. The isolation. The bruise. The missing glasses. The threats. She speaks clearly. Steady. Measured. Because truth, presented calmly, is harder to dismiss. Daniel listens. Expression unchanged. When she finishes, there is a silence. Long enough to matter. Then, you are new here. Not a question. A statement. Yes. Another pause. Clara has been part of this family for a long time. The words are neutral, but the meaning is not. Amara does not respond immediately. She chooses carefully. That does not mean she cannot be wrong. Daniel exhales. Slow. Controlled. You are suggesting something serious. Yes. Another silence. Then, I will speak with her. The words sound like action, but feel like dismissal. Amara nods. Thank you. But something in his tone stays with her. Something unresolved. The next day, Clara arrives earlier than usual. Not 11:30. 11. Unannounced. Amara is in the room. So is Madam Park. Clara walks in, smiling. But her eyes go directly to Amara. Sharp. Focused. Aware. Daniel told me you had concerns. Her voice is calm. Too calm. Amara meets her gaze. Yes. Clara nods slowly, then turns to Madam Park. Did something happen that I should know about? A pause. The room tightens. Madam Park's hands rest on her lap. Still. Too still. Amara waits. Because this is the moment. The truth can surface. Or disappear. Madam Park looks up. Not at Amara. At Clara. Then she speaks. No. One word. Clean. Final. Clara's smile softens. There it is. Relief. Performance. Control restored. She turns back to Amara. Gently. Almost sympathetic. You see. The word lands quietly. But it closes the door. Daniel steps in moments later. He looks between them. Reads the room. Draws the wrong conclusion. My mother has spoken. His voice is firm. Decisive. Amara holds her ground. She is afraid. Daniel's expression hardens. Be careful. A pause. Stay in your place. The words are not loud, but they carry weight. Finality. Hierarchy. Amara nods. Not in agreement. In acknowledgement. Because now she understands something else. Truth does not win here. Not without proof. Not without power. And she has neither. Clara watches her. The softness gone. Replaced by something colder. A message without words. You tried. It did not work. That evening, the room is quiet again. But not the same quiet. This one is heavier. Madam Park sits by the window. The light fading slowly. Amara stands beside her. Not speaking. Just present. After a while, Madam Park whispers. I am sorry. Amara looks at her. For what? A pause. For not saying it. Amara kneels slightly. Brings herself to eye level. You did what you needed to do. Another pause. Longer. More honest. Then Amara speaks again. Low. Certain. I won't leave you alone. The words settle. Not dramatic. Not loud. But absolute. Madam Park exhales slowly. Some of the tension leaves her shoulders. Not all. But enough. Outside, the city lights come on. Inside, nothing changes. Not yet. Because the truth is still trapped. Still hidden. Still unprovable. And that is the most dangerous place for it to be. Now she knew the truth. And had no way to prove it. The balance shifts. Not suddenly. Not violently. But noticeably. Clara stops pretending as much. Not completely. Never completely. But enough for the difference to be felt. Her visits change. Still precise. Still controlled. But shorter. Sharper. More direct. The softness becomes thinner. The pauses become colder. And the kindness feels like a tool, not a trait. Amara notices first. Because she is watching. Always watching. The interruptions begin quietly. Reading sessions are shortened. You have other duties. The words come without explanation. Amara nods. Steps back. Leaves the room. But not by choice. By instruction. The door closes behind her. And something in that small action feels deliberate. Minutes later, she returns. The book is closed. Madam Park is silent. Looking at nothing. Again. The pattern is tightening. Access is being controlled. Time is being reduced. Connection is being interrupted. And it is no longer subtle. Clara stands by the window. Back turned. As if nothing has happened. As if everything is normal. Amara says nothing. But something inside her hardens. Because now the space itself is being managed. Who enters? Who stays? Who leaves? And when? That is power. And Clara is using it. The pressure increases. Not physical. Not yet. Psychological. Carefully applied. Strategically placed. One afternoon, Clara holds a folder. Thin. Neutral. But important. She places it on the table beside Madam Park. Casually. Like it does not matter. We need to start organizing things properly. Madam Park does not look at it. Her hands stay in her lap. Still. What things? Clara smiles. Gentle. Measured. Legal things. Future planning. A pause. Just in case. The words are soft. But they land heavy. Amara stands at the edge of the room. Listening. Every word stored. Every tone noted. Clara opens the folder slightly. Not enough to reveal everything. Just enough. A glimpse of paper. Signatures. Typed lines. Formal language. Then she closes it again. We will discuss it later. Madam Park nods. Once. Slow. Controlled. Because refusing is not an option. Not openly. Not yet. Clara leaves the room. The folder stays behind. On the table. Visible. Silent. Amara looks at it. Then at Madam Park. What is that? A pause. Longer than necessary. Then. Nothing important. The answer comes too quickly. Too neatly. And Amara understands. This is not just pressure. This is preparation. Something is being built. Documented. Positioned. So that when it happens, it looks official. Legitimate. Final. The next days confirm it. Clara references it casually. In conversation. In passing. Small phrases. Carefully chosen. You need proper supervision. It would be safer. More structured. A place designed for your condition. Each sentence sounds reasonable. Individually. But together. They form something else. A path. A direction. An outcome. Madam Park speaks less. Even when Amara is present. Because now silence is not just fear. It is survival. And that changes everything. Daniel begins to notice. Not the abuse. Not directly. But the difference. It starts with a sound. Laughter. Unexpected. He is walking past the hallway. Stops. Because he has not heard it in a long time. He looks inside. Amara is reading. Madam Park interrupts her. Corrects a line. Argues about a word. And for a moment, the room feels alive. Not like a patient's room. Like a mind at work. Daniel watches. Quietly. Unseen. His expression shifts. Not fully. Not clearly. But enough. That evening, he speaks to Amara in the kitchen. My mother seemed different today. Amara does not turn immediately. She continues stirring the pot. Different how? A pause. More engaged. More present. Amara nods, slightly. She responds to attention. Daniel considers that. Then. She never used to. Amara finally turns. Maybe she was not given enough of it. The words land carefully. Not accusing. But not neutral. Daniel says nothing. But the thought stays. And thoughts like that do not disappear easily. Clara notices too. Of course she does. The change in Madam Park. The increase in energy. The return of voice. That is not part of her plan. And anything that disrupts control must be removed. Her behavior sharpens again. This time, more directly. Amara's schedule is reduced. Unexplained adjustments. Shorten hours. Reassign tasks. Less time in the room. More time away from it. Each change small. Individually harmless. Together. Effective. Amara understands immediately. This is not management. This is separation. So she adapts. She uses every minute she has. Reads faster. Stays longer when possible. Speaks more when allowed. Because now time is limited. And she feels it. Every second counts. One evening, as she prepares to leave, Daniel stops her. There are cameras in the house. The statement comes casually. Like a side note. Security. Renovation update. They record continuously. Backed up privately. Amara pauses. Just slightly. Then nods. Understood. She walks away. But the information stays. Because it changes something. Not immediately. Not clearly. But it settles. In the back of her mind. As possibility. As proof. As something that might matter later. Days pass. Tension builds. Quietly. Steadily. Inevitably. Clara returns one afternoon. Earlier than expected. The air feels different. Heavier. More focused. No small talk. No performance. She walks directly to Madam Park. Stands closer than usual. Her voice lower. More controlled. We cannot delay this any longer. Madam Park looks up. Her eyes are tired. But aware. Delay what? Clara places the folder down again. This time she opens it. Fully. Paper spread. Clear. Visible. A decision needs to be made. A pause. You are not as strong as you think you are. The words are calm. Measured. But they cut deeper than before. Amara stands at the side. Frozen in place. Not from fear. From awareness. Because something is about to happen. Something irreversible. Madam Park's hands grip the armrest. Tighter. Her voice comes out slower. But steady. I am still here. Clara leans closer. Close enough that her voice almost disappears. But not enough to be missed. Not for long. The silence that follows is not empty. It is building. Pressure. Weight. Momentum. Amara takes one step forward. Instinct. Not decision. Because now the line is visible. Clear. Defined. And it is about to be crossed. And then, it happened in front of her. The moment does not announce itself. It happens fast. But not suddenly. Because everything before it has been building toward this. Clara's hand moves first. Clean. Direct. No hesitation. The sound is sharp. Louder than expected. It cuts through the room. Madam Park's head turns with the impact. Not violently. Just enough. Her glasses slip. Fall. Hit the marble floor. A crack. Small. Precise. But final. For a second, no one moves. Not Clara. Not Madam Park. Not Amara. Because something has just crossed a line that cannot be explained away. Not as misunderstanding. Not as care. Not as anything else. This is what it is. And now it is visible. Clara exhales slowly. Like she has just corrected something. Like this was necessary. You are making this more difficult than it needs to be. Her voice is calm. Controlled. As if nothing unusual has happened. Madam Park does not respond. Her hand remains still, resting on the armrest. But her fingers tremble slightly. The room holds its breath. And then, Amara moves. No pause. No calculation. No permission. She steps forward. Closes the distance. Her hand rises. Not high. Not dramatic. Just enough. And then, contact. The sound is different. Not louder. But heavier. Because this one carries meaning. Clara stumbles slightly. More from shock than force. Her hand goes to her cheek. Her eyes widen. Not with pain. With disbelief. Because no one does that to her. No one. The room freezes. Again. But this time, the silence feels different. Not empty. charged, alive. Amara stands still. Between them, breathing controlled, eyes steady. Her voice comes low, firm, certain. Don't touch her again. No anger, no shouting, just truth, stripped of everything else. For a second, Clara says nothing, because she does not have a response prepared for this. This is not part of her script. Then the door opens. Daniel steps in. The same moment from before. But now, everything has context. He stops, takes it in. His fiancée, hand on her face. His maid, standing in front of her. His mother, still in the chair. Glasses broken on the floor. Silence, heavy, immediate. Clara speaks first. Of course she does. Her voice trembles. Perfectly. She attacked me. The words are fast, urgent, controlled panic. Daniel looks at Amara, waiting, expecting something, an explanation, a defense. But Amara does not rush. She does not fill the silence. She stands, still, because now, this is not about words. It is about truth. And truth is already in the room. Daniel turns to his mother, his voice softer, concerned. What happened? A pause. Long. Important. Madam Park's eyes lift. Slowly. She looks at Clara. Then at Amara. Then at Daniel. Something shifts. Not in the room. In her. Because this is the moment she has been avoiding. The moment where silence no longer protects her. It only protects the wrong person. She inhales. Slow. Deliberate. Then she speaks. Not rushed. Not emotional. Clear. She has been hurting me. The words land quietly. But they do not fade. Daniel does not react immediately. Because the sentence is too simple. Too direct. He waits. For more. Madam Park continues. The glasses. She hides them. The chair. She turns it. Faces me to the wall. Food comes late. Sometimes not at all. Medication. Delayed. Always delayed. Each sentence builds. Piece by piece. Detail by detail. A structure of truth. Steady. Unshaken. She tells me I am confused. That I need to leave. That I will be taken somewhere else. A pause. Then. She slapped me. Silence. Clara's composure cracks. Not fully. But enough. That is not true. Her voice is sharper now. Less controlled. Daniel does not respond. He is looking at his mother. Really looking. For the first time. And what he sees is not confusion. Not weakness. But clarity. He turns slowly. To Clara. Is it? A simple question. But it changes everything. Clara hesitates. Just for a second. And that second is enough. Because doubt has entered. And doubt spreads quickly. Daniel steps back. His mind moving faster now. Pieces connecting. Small inconsistencies. Moments he ignored. Things that did not quite fit. And now, they all point in the same direction. He looks toward the ceiling. Then back at Amara. There are cameras. The words are quiet. But decisive. Clara's face changes. Just slightly. But it is there. Daniel leaves the room immediately. No hesitation. No delay. Minutes pass. Heavy. Uncertain. Clara stands still. No longer performing. No longer speaking. Because now, there is nothing left to say. Only what can be proven. Daniel returns. Phone in hand. His expression is different. Not confused. Not uncertain. Resolved. He looks at Clara. Then speaks. I saw it. 2 words. But they end everything. Clara's posture breaks. Not dramatically. But enough. That the control is gone. The performance is over. Daniel's voice lowers. What else? He is not asking anymore. He is confirming. And Clara knows it. The room shifts. Power moves. Quietly. But completely. Amara steps back slightly. Not as retreat. As release. Because the truth no longer needs protection. It stands on its own. Shock fades. Something else takes its place. Relief. Not loud. Not visible. But present. Because the silence has finally been broken. And now, justice has somewhere to begin. The aftermath is not immediate. It unfolds. Slowly. publicly, inevitably. Clara's world does not collapse in one moment. It unravels, thread by thread. First, within the house, staff begin to talk. Quiet conversations, careful observations, things they noticed, things they ignored. Now spoken, now connected. Then, outside, information moves. Quietly, at first, then faster. Because truth travels differently when it has evidence. And there is evidence. Clear, undeniable, recorded. Clara is removed from the house. Not dramatically. No scene. Just absence. But the impact is loud. Because control has been taken from her. And once that happens, everything else follows. Legal steps begin. Formal, structured, cold. Statements are taken. Records reviewed. Footage examined. Every detail matters now. Every action has weight. Clara's composure does not return. Not fully. Because, without control, there is nothing left to maintain. The narrative shifts. Completely. The same story. Different perspective. And perspective changes everything. Amara is questioned. Carefully. Thoroughly. Her actions examined. Her decision. The moment. The slap. For a brief time. She stands in uncertainty. Because truth does not always protect immediately. But consistency does. And she has that. Every detail aligns. Every moment connects. And slowly, the position changes. From accused to witness. From witness to protector. And finally, to the one who acted when no one else did. Respect does not arrive loudly. It settles. In looks. In tone. In silence. The house changes. Not physically, but emotionally. The air feels different. Lighter. Open. Madam Park changes with it. The silence that once surrounded her disappears. Not completely, but enough. Her voice returns. Stronger each day. Not forced. Not fragile. Natural. She reads again. Not because she has to. Because she wants to. She argues again. Corrects again. Challenges again. The professor is back. Fully. The chair is no longer turned toward the wall. It faces the window. Every morning, sunlight reaches her face. Direct. Unblocked. Her glasses are repaired. Restored. Not just functional. Symbolic. Because she sees clearly now. In every sense. Daniel changes too. Not quickly. Not perfectly. But honestly. Regret sits with him. Quiet. Persistent. He spends more time in the room. Not as obligation. As effort. As repair. Their conversations are slow. Careful. But real. And that matters. More than anything else. Amara remains. Not in the same way. Not just as staff. As presence. As stability. As someone who stayed. When leaving would have been easier. Tuesday returns. The kitchen fills again. The same smell. Strong. Alive. Jollof rice. Madam Park sits at the table. Not waiting. Participating. Daniel joins. Awkward at first. Then less. Then, naturally. They eat together. No performance. No control. Just people. Existing. The house is still quiet. But it is a different kind of quiet now. Not empty. Peaceful. Earned. And, in that quiet, everything that was hidden has lost its power. The final scene is simple. Morning light. Open book. Two voices. Reading. Interrupting. Correcting. Laughing. The wheelchair faces the window. The glass reflects the city. But inside, something stronger exists. Truth. Restored. She did not come to fight. But when the moment came, she did not hesitate.